On the 6th of December, 1999, police raided the villa of Javed Iqbal Mujal in Chambor, Lahore, a wealthy man known by the nickname Kukri. What they found inside shocked even the officers who had seen violence before. In room after room, they discovered hundreds of chappals, some no larger than those worn by children of 6, others clearly belonging to boys of 12, 14, or 16. The scattered footwear seemed to tell a story before anyone could speak it. One mother in a black hijab arrived at the house while the search was still underway. She moved through the mess with a strange force, as if grief had hardened into purpose. She dropped to the floor, gathered the chappals one by one, and finally found the pair that belonged to her son, Saqib. She held them tightly, then turned without a word and carried them to the police station. There she stood before an inspector and said her son was missing. Her voice shook, but her words did not. She was not there to beg. She was reporting a crime. The inspector took her statement, copied down Saqib's description, and kept his photograph on the desk. He promised that the police would look into it. She left the room with the terrible calm of a mother who already knew that time mattered more than promises. Javed had built his home like a private kingdom. He came from a rich family and inherited a fortune after his father's death. Over the years he turned the villa into a strange mixture of business and bait, a steel recasting operation, a video game arcade, a gym, an aquarium, and even a school arrangement meant to attract poor children from the neighborhood. He sent a trusted servant to parks and streets to bring boys with offers of free games, exercise, and education. The children entered through one door and, for many of them, never went out again. Hidden in the house was a large blue drum filled with sulfuric acid. It was kept secret from everyone except those who lived inside the villa's darkness. What happened to the children who disappeared there was spoken of only later, in fragments, in fear, and in outrage. Saqib became one of the children who entered the house. When Javed tried to assault him, the boy fought back with desperate strength. Javed struck him on the head, and Saqib fell injured, but not unconscious. Javed dragged him into another room, believing the child had been silenced. After that, one victim after another was brought in, and the pattern continued until each was disposed of in the same terrible way. But Saqib survived. For 3 days he hid, weak and terrified, before finally breaking free and reaching the police. His testimony gave the missing pieces to the officers who had already begun to suspect the villa. The raid that followed exposed the evidence and seized the blue drum that had concealed so much horror. The case moved to court, but before judgment could be reached, Javed died by suicide in his prison cell. The house was no longer a private kingdom, and the silence around it was broken at last. Yet the mothers who stood with the chappals, and the children who never returned, remained the truest witnesses to what had happened there.